And kept forgetting to record the last couple weeks, so now we're recording.
Maybe we're better off.
Probably. All right, recording. Got the threadcast. I got the spaces. You're added to the spaces. Um,
Right on. I'm unmuted on the spaces.
yeah, let me switch my audio over to space. In the space. All right, quick audio check on you, Mitch.
Check in the mic, and if it's right,
One more time.
hive to the moon.
All right, loud and clear. We are good to go. Yeah, all the streams are up. OBS is on. Recording is going. Like I was just saying, I kept forgetting to hit record the last 2 weeks. So, um, we were just talking in the pre-show about crypto markets, Ethereum, and obviously some of the other coins have not been doing well. Ethereum dropped like 50% last weekend, on the tariff news. So that was pretty rough. Pretty rough to experience. And then, just in general, just been super lackluster. But then we were talking about Hive and, obviously Hive had kind of like this explosive rise from November to really January, and has been kind of coming down, coming back down. And both Mitch and I were talking about how it's starting to get a little interesting to think about, starting to pick up some Hive here soon, for a lot of different reasons. I mean, like you've got the obvious, like it's down, so if it even just recovers to where it was, it's a good like 50% return. But then we were also talking about like buying and staking Hive, and the ROI you can get from that. So it's starting to get to a really good value prop, which is something that I try to tell people from Dash or other ecosystems too, is that if you can buy Hive at a good price, you kind of get paid to sit and wait, which is unique on Hive versus other cryptos. Like if you bought Bitcoin and you sat on it, in theory you could deploy it in DeFi, but then you're getting impermanent loss. With Hive, you can just
Yes.
buy Hive, stake it, like there's no impermanent loss risk. You stake it and you can earn like 10% APR. So you essentially can earn 10% APR paid to you in Hive, and then you can just wait out the bear market. And then when the bull market does eventually come, you're that much more better off. Which I think a lot of us have experienced. Like if you can time it all right, you've experienced this where you've invested in Hive. It's taken 2-3 years to get out of a bear market, and then when the bull market comes, you have exponentially more Hive, and then the price goes up, even higher than it was before when you bought it. So now you're doing, much better than other people. And I think that's what drew a lot of us to Hive in the first place. I know it's what drew me here, you know, like 9 or 10 years ago now.
I know it's crazy how long it's been. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, excuse me. I mean, November, Hive was 17, 18 cents, and then mooned up to 65. So anyone was able to ride that train definitely was enjoyable. And then, it's given essentially half that back, but you're floating at 30, 31 cents here, which that area has been, a very prominent area for the price of Hive over the years. Especially really since like the winter of, 2022, like October, November, December, is really when started chopping there a lot, and then it stayed there for a long time for, a number of years before it finally dipping below, and now we're back above. So yeah, I'm curious to see if like I feel like kind of like the 25-cent area is a pretty big support in terms of all the previous price action. So, and it rallied off of that, the spike that, all the cryptos had on that Sunday night. The tariff news came out. What did it do? It pushed, right down to that, a little bit through it for a minute, and then rallied above. So, um, be interesting to see if it touches that again before, possibly going up. But yeah, just from a fundamental price point, there's a lot of upside in that, we were just at 65 cents. What is it? 4 or 5 weeks ago, so it catches a bid again, it's like pretty much double in price from where it is now. Um, so yeah, there's definitely been volatility there for people that are, a little more active trading it. But even from a, longer term investment standpoint, like you said, earn yield on your hive power from curating and obviously the baked in APR um, and price point wise, your upside is better than your downside. So yeah, it's funny too because we fell into this conversation because I started like thinking about it. Well, is now an opportunity to whale into Hive and, power up where it's just like, all right, sweet, you can collect that APR while you're waiting for the next pump. Um, and I think as long as you're willing to stay in it, if we do get a pullback, then over the long run, you're going to be fine because like any other coin, right? Highs and lows. So, could we see 17 cents again? Sure. Could we see, 65 cents, dollar? Absolutely. Plenty of price action above. So we kind of touched those highs when we got up to like 65, 60. Well, what did we get up to? 69, 66? Yeah, 66,
Yeah.
67. So that was the first like major resistance that I had on my price charts. And then I was like, all right, if we get through that, I'm looking for potential, test of like 85, 86, and then after that closer to a dollar. So we'll see. Um, in theory, Hive price is still on an uptrend. I mean, we have three consecutive higher lows. So as long as that continues um, from a broader perspective. So, but we'll see. Next bounce, it would, in theory, have to take out the that 65 cents.
Yeah. I think it's I mean, I think it's a matter of time. I mean, the market's just like really bleeding out. I know a lot of people are asking why things are down and whatnot. And I think, it's just funny because while Bitcoin is, still flirting with 100K, altcoins have gotten demolished outside of meme coins. I mean, it's been, Ethereum's at 2,600, which is wild. Like it's all-time high, I think was like what, 4,800 maybe, something like that. So, and that was in the last cycle. So it hasn't even, Ethereum hasn't even gotten near its all-time high in this cycle. Um, which is just crazy to think about. So,
Yeah, it's
uh,
been sort of a dog.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying they don't think an alt market is coming this season, this cycle, which, I know that a lot of people are feeding into that FUD. I personally, I still think there's going to be an alt market. I would be really surprised if there's no altcoin market because while these meme coins have caught a lot of bids and obviously gone up a lot in price, I actually think that's a good indicator that there's still momentum that can be had in the altcoin market where, as soon as sentiment flips to it, it's just going to be off to the races. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm,
it's just very hard to say, but
I mean, at the end of the day, there's obviously different perspectives and modes of thinking. So when I'm in straight investor mode, obviously I'm looking at risk reward, and it's funny because heck, we're talking about price potential, upside, downside. Um, I wonder if right now, as a pure just investment play, if load into Leo is not the worst idea. Because I mean, what are we? We're like 2 cents or just below 2 cents, and you know 4, 5, 6 cents for Leo at any time is super realistic. So I'm just like,
for
huh.
sure.
I was like, maybe that's the gamble. Maybe I'll just lever up and whale into Leo at 2 cents, and hopefully we get the pop to like 5, 6 cents again, where it's been like plenty of times, this past year, and it's easy double your money. I
Yeah.
feel like Leo getting to 4 or 5 cents is a lot easier than, a lot of other coins having to double. So I
Yeah. I
was
mean, my biased opinion is obviously to agree with you. We've been hit pretty hard by, if you think about the three core pools that Leo is tied to, um, it's primarily cacao, Hive, and Ethereum, and all three of those are down very heavily. So. that essentially means that we're like exponentially down because we're just getting dragged down by all these other coins. That being said, I think that, all three are long-term good bets. So being tied to them is not the worst thing. But the real key is like, being tied to them, but then also, having enough revenue coming in from our, all the different value capture mechanisms and using that revenue to outpace what we're tied to. And the way you do that is just simple through, buybacks. Like, the USD base price is going to be attached to those three cryptos. But then if you can buy in addition to that, then when things go up, you're going up exponentially. So, um,
Yeah.
I keep talking about how I've been, studying how just global economies work in general and just economies broadly speaking, because what Leo is essentially an economy. So, the way for Leo to grow in terms of market cap to, the $1 billion market cap vision that I have for where we should be headed. Um, whether that takes 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. I think we get to $1 billion in market cap by capturing value from external ecosystems and bringing it in. So to capture value, that essentially for a global economy like, the United States or, any other country, what that means is you're exporting products and services to other countries and they're paying you for those products and services. And by exporting those things, you bring in capital from the outside and you grow your economy and you turn raw materials into exports. So, what are the raw materials of INLEO? Primarily premium, INLEO premium, um, which is obviously subscription revenue, which is, very valuable for any business. And then um, you've also got the LeoDex swap revenue. So the ability for people to swap assets on LeoDex, and then we collect a fee from Maya, and that brings revenue and value capture into the Leo economy. And then you've also got when we add chain flip, Thorchain, and Rango, those are three more ways that we can essentially export a service and get paid for it. So then it'll turn LeoDex into kind of like this epicenter of trading. Um, so like right now you can trade, just over a dozen assets on LeoDex, including Hive, HBD, Leo, SPS, and others, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. But when we add Thorchain, Rango, and Chainflip, it'll be over 300 assets. Because between the three of those integrations, there's just so many other coins out there. In theory, it's like 10,000 coins, but we're actually dwindling the list and we're picking and choosing what we add. Because in theory, we can support literally every crypto once we have Rango, Thorchain, and Chainflip added, in addition to Maya. So, I'm putting a lot of focus into LeoDex lately because I think it is our most scalable form of revenue. So obviously growing premium is important to me. And then growing, creator subscriptions is another form of value capture for the economy. But I think that LeoDex swap revenue is really where we can pick up a lot of scalable revenue. I mean, there's in theory no cap to LeoDex swap revenue. Like you look at centralized exchanges, you even look at other decentralized exchanges like, Thor Swap and Shapeshift and others. And they're bringing tons of value into their economies through swap revenue. So if we're essentially able uh, to do the same and get users onto LeoDex, then the Leo economy will be capturing value from all these other economies by exporting that service, which is the LeoDex interface, and doing so will bring a lot of value to Leo. So. Long story short, I do agree. I think Leo is a great bet. I think if you believe that the Leo team's not going anywhere, which we're obviously not, and we're going to be successful in the long run. It's kind of a no-brainer. When you look at a lot of different cryptos, like what cryptos are offering you the opportunity to essentially go from $1 million market cap, which is where we're at now, to a $1 billion market cap, which is where we're headed. So, I'll just keep pushing. It's like I said, I've been really studying economies and how they work and how they capture value. And what I've realized is that if we can focus on exporting products and services that bring in value to our economy from others, that's how we're going to win.
Yeah. Definitely plenty of asymmetrical upside, which is, always the big investors focused on.
Yeah.
I saw Ahmad Manga is having some fun with creating INLEO assistants on AI websites. Apparently, he created an INLEO assistant on Venice AI and on Assister.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan of people experimenting with AI. I had a conversation this morning about AI on Hive and my thoughts on it in general. Obviously I'm against people using AI to farm the rewards pool. That being said, um, I think it's a lot better for people on Hive to be experimenting with AI rather than, allowing people that aren't on Hive to experiment with AI. If you imagine that, AI is not going anywhere. I think everybody can agree on that. Even people who don't like it know that it's not going anywhere. Um, and it's much better to have people who have Hive's best interest in heart creating AI than having people who want to extract value from Hive creating AI. And it's kind of that, age old saying of, put yourself out of business or innovate yourself, out of business essentially. And, I think that people on Hive should be experimenting with AI and understanding how it works. And the better we understand it and use it, the better we can defend against it from people who are trying to extract value because AI by itself is not value extractive. Like it's just the fact that it's AI doesn't mean that, okay, this sucks for Hive because it's AI. That's just not true. What's true is how it's utilized, how it's in place, and what we have to defend against it. So, I know for Leo, we've built a lot of mechanisms to defend, the referral system and other things against AI because that's obviously been an attack vector. And then we've also done other things to defend our stats and the way that we display them. We just released in the last couple of days that new inleo.io/stats dashboard, which you can find by clicking the more menu. So we just released that. And one thing that we have to do there is have filtering mechanisms because people do create AI accounts and then we have to filter them out from our data. And people also do create AI accounts and try to extract value from the Leo economy. So, I know there's been a lot of pushback. I don't even know if I'd say a lot of pushback. I'd say there's been pushback from certain people regarding AI. And my response to them would be you personally should be studying AI. You should be encouraging other hivers to study AI and to use it and find ways to leverage it. Because the more that we understand and know how to use it, and the more that we actually do use it, the better we can defend against, value extractors who are inevitably going to come in and try to use Hive to extract value using AI. So the better we understand it, the better tools that are in place, the better off Hive will be in the long run. So I'm a big fan of people like Ahmad Manga and others who are experimenting with AI and learning how it can be used both for us and against us.
Absolutely. I'm notorious for not spending much time on AI, even though I know I should be. So maybe playing with this InLeo assistant is a good way for me to continue to get my feet wet because I already know I'm falling behind the curve in terms of AI. Just usage, knowing how to leverage it and use it just at a simple base user level. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna if I'm not careful, I'll turn into the new version of a boomer, or whatever we're gonna call. We're gonna call the people after the boomers, after the boomers are gone. Um, I saw that Alex Rourke mentioned something about Leo Merchants because he's got a brick and mortar store that he already accepts Bitcoin and have Hive assets. So he said he's 100% down to use Leo Merchants. So looks like you have yourself a beta tester that's already
Yeah, it's
accepting crypto.
yeah, you should definitely reach out to me if you want to tap into the APIs at all. I also put out a blog post 2 or 3 days ago, announcing that we've got 25 pilot stores. So I've been working on this kind of behind the scenes. There's some gas stations and brick and mortar stores that want to accept crypto. So, with Leo Merchants, you can pay in any crypto and you can accept any crypto. So it's really revolutionary in my opinion for people who want to accept crypto in the real world. Um, because for example, and this will be the first, of the 25 stores that rolls out, a gas station can say, okay, I want to receive you, and this is going literally going live. So they're saying they want to receive USDC on the Arbitrum network deposited into their Coinbase wallet because that's just the easiest way to cash out to fiat and also earn. There's like a 5 or 6% yield on USDC in Coinbase, I think. So it's essentially like having a money market. So, for example, a gas station like this says, okay, I want to receive USDC Arbitrum, and I want my customers to be able to pay in whatever they want. I don't want them to have to pay me in USDC Arbitrum. So, for example, being able to pay with HBD or Bitcoin or Ethereum or Arbitrum or USDT. So we're working with figuring out this POS software so that people can essentially come in and scan a QR code that so let's say the customer comes in and they say, okay, I'm buying, 2 energy drinks. It's $8. I want to pay in Arbitrum on the Arbitrum network, and the gas station, receives USDC. So customer comes in, they choose Arbitrum, it costs, $8. They see a QR code, they scan that QR code with their Arbitrum wallet, and then it sends $8 worth of ARB to the Leo Merchants payment rail. And then Leo Merchants actually converts the $8 of Arbitrum to USDC using LeoDex, and then it pays the merchant, $7 and 50 cents, for example, for that payment. And then the other 50 cents is actually swapped from Arbitrum to HBD and sent to the Leo Pool account, which is where we collect, all of our fee revenue. So this does a lot of things, and it allows the merchant to accept any crypto. So the customer can pay in whatever they want, and the merchant can accept whatever they want. And then it also allows, like I was just saying, the way you build an economy is by bringing in money from the outside. So getting, essentially capturing value from other economies and bringing it, onto your own shores. So the way you do this, or the way Leo Merchants does this, is that 50-cent fee, whatever the Leo Merchants fee is actually settled in HBD. So it's swapping that small fee into HBD and bringing it back to the Hive blockchain. So now every business that starts to accept any crypto, that small fee is getting collected and it's getting sent to the Hive blockchain. So, it's really important to grow things like this. And I think that we're on the verge of just really opening up the floodgates in terms of capturing value on external economies and bringing it in.
Hold the flywheel.
Yep. The African man said, can one directly buy premium from Binance? I guess technically you could if you can withdraw the currency in the right way, but I would say it probably makes more sense to just pick whatever you want to buy premium with, like whether it's Dash, HBD, Hive, uh, or any of the other cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum. We accept all of them now for premium. So I would say the best method would probably be to connect your key store and then get your wallet address for, like, whatever you're going to pay in, Dash, Bitcoin, whatever. And then withdraw the $10 from Binance to your key store and then just pay for premium using the INLEO website, just so that nothing gets missed. I think it would make it a lot easier. Leon said, there's so many integrations on INLEO. Proud to see the platform growing in terms of digital infrastructure. Eventually, the coin will follow. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, altcoins are down in general, but the key is really value capture, and that's where my focus is. If we can capture more value from other economies and bring it into Hive and Leo, that's how you're going to see, Hive and Leo thrive in the long run. Is capture value by exporting products and services. And we're doing that in a big way with LeoDex and premium and creator subs and Leo merchants. You can see a very common theme here, which is, we're starting to focus a lot on what we can send out externally in order to bring internally.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize. I just assumed it was you, but apparently it's Caleb Marvel. that's broadcasting the Leo anime on TikTok.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's smart. I mean, there's people living on TikTok. Anytime I go on TikTok, it's like you see lives, and it's just like to an extent, and obviously it's the algorithm that's showing me the same people, but it's just like I'm amazed. It's like that's what they do. They do TikTok because they're like live on TikTok for like hours and hours every single day.
Yeah.
What do we got? Any update on how the referral rewards and pace of referring users are going?
Yeah, it's going well. We do have mechanisms in place that prevent people from gaming it. And I know that that's kind of it's been a two-sided thing where, it's not super clear what you need to do from a criteria standpoint in order to get your first payout. That being said, if you onboard humans, you will have no problems. The problem is when you start to onboard bots, or if you just onboarded a user and they didn't do anything yet. It essentially we have a process where it'll flag your account as potentially using AI or spam or whatever. So then you won't be able to cash out your or claim your referral rewards. Um, but as you refer, people who are human and do human actions, you'll be able to claim. So, there's some very kind of clear reasons why we can't just like post something up and say this is exactly what you need to do in order to be able to claim. And that's because people will just then create AIs that can circumvent that. So, by having a little bit of obscurity to it and just saying onboard real humans and you'll be able to claim with no problem, that's the way, we've chosen to go about it. So it's working great. And there are people who are claiming pretty regularly, but again, you need to make sure that your onboards are human. And if it's like a consistent abuse thing, like if you onboarded 6 accounts and then none of them look human, you can actually get banned from the referral system. So then you'll never be able to claim, unless you like do a manual appeal. So we've
Sweet.
had to implement, yeah, we've had to implement some restrictions and boundaries and essentially bumper rails to
I
prevent
shall
abuse.
I shall create the catbot army until I get busted.
You can
If only.
try. You'll probably get busted immediately
I
though.
would love to try just to, beta test. Unfortunately, Cat is not technically inclined to do that. I have no idea how to do anything that is bot related, begrudgingly, because sadly, money can be made using bots, at least for trading. Um, what's cool is so obviously, I'm a numbers guy. I love stats, blah, blah, blah. But also something that I have a knack for is just noticing shifts and changes in trends just from experiencing stuff. And what's cool is this is the first time I've like really kind of just subconsciously had like, the thought come to the forefront of my brain where I was like, oh, look at that. And that thought is there's at least half a dozen, maybe even more people interacting and contributing on the Threadcast right now that I'm not familiar with. I don't even think I've seen before. Maybe I have, but that's pretty cool to see like a noticeable amount of fresh faces in the Threadcast. Um, that to me, like that is, seeing growth, um, in reality, as opposed to just looking at numbers.
Yeah,
So pretty
it's a
cool.
subjective thing, but it is true. And we have been seeing a lot of people asking, how successful the onboarding has been going, especially with the Dash integration, and it has been really successful. I mean, there's a lot of new faces that I've never seen before, both in the Threadcast and just on the platform in general. Um,
Um,
so yeah.
can we still do polls? Is that a thing?
Yeah, polls.
All
Yeah,
right, cool. I'm
on
super
chain
curious.
polls.
I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming that's like has to be a base layer thread, right? I can't, or could I actually do a poll as a thread in the Threadcast?
You can work around it. You can't do a poll as a reply, but you can do a poll as a top
Gotcha.
level thread, then
And then
copy the
put
link
it,
to it
yeah.
and then paste it.
Yeah.
So
I'm super, and this is just my own curiosity. I want to do a poll, a geographical poll to see like, where our at least, our interactive users are, because, it's definitely diverse. You can tell just from uh reading and watching the Threadcast and looking at, people's names and pictures and things like that. But I'm super curious. Um, but cool, cool. So I know that you have a hard stop in like 15, 20 minutes. So I want to make sure there's not any other updates you want to get out before we kind of dive back into questions.
Yeah, we've been, like I said, I've been, um, we've pushed out a few pretty big blog posts kind of announcing some of the things we've been working on. That new stats dashboard is live. The Leo Merchants pilot program is live. And then I've put out a few blog posts talking about the, collaboration value, so like what's the value of collaborating for Hive. And a lot of those type of blog posts that I've been putting out lately are, essentially I've had a lot of conversations, obviously related to the INLEO proposal that we're trying to get pushed through on Hive. We're at 95% right now, so we are just like inching up to the line at this point. Very close to getting over the funding line, which, once we get over that funding line, it is like off to the races. Like I've already got these collaborations lined up, and I just want to make them happen. So I'm pushing as fast as I can to get over that line so that we can keep rolling on these collaborations for the rest of the year. Um, if you thought onboarding Dash brought a lot of value to Hive and INLEO, wait till you see, onboarding Arbitrum, Solana, Chainflip, Maya, and many others as well. It's going to bring a lot of value to this ecosystem in a way that nobody's done before. So, and I was talking to someone and they were like, well, you're just throwing out buzzwords. And no, we're not just throwing out buzzwords, because these are literal partnerships with these ecosystems. So, it just like we did with Dash, the Dash team now talks about INLEO and talks about Hive on a near daily basis on X. When they do podcasts, when they do spaces, when they, share links, when people ask them how they can earn Dash, they actually link to INLEO now and tell people to sign up to it. So now imagine 10 of the biggest crypto projects in the world all doing the exact same thing. Projects like Solana that are worth $100 billion in market cap, telling their community and ecosystem to join INLEO and join Hive and be active there. And it goes back again to that point I made earlier. The way you build a successful economy is by exporting products and services and capturing value from other economies and bringing it back to your own shore. The way we're going to do that is by having these collaborations like we did with Dash and bringing their community to the platform. And then some of them are going to be premium. Some of them are going to use LeoDex. Some of them may even use Leo Merchants or may tell a friend who could use Leo Merchants to use it. Some of them are going to do creator subs. All these different, mechanisms of capturing value are then layered on every single collaboration we do, and they all bring value back into Hive. So it's not just buzzwords. These are like literal partnerships with the core team, just like we did with Dash. And each partnership has the potential to bring in, a lot of community members, but more importantly, a lot of value capture for Hive. So, what everybody on Hive wants to see, and I think you guys all probably agree with this, is, how can we bring more market cap and investment into Hive? How can we make the Hive price essentially go up is what people want. My response is always, it's great to get people to invest in Hive, and that is something that we talk about and try to encourage. Mitch and I just did it at the beginning of this podcast. Um, but what you really want to see is capturing value from other economies. That's how you really grow a successful economy, is export. So, in order to make that happen, we need to do these collaborations, and that's how you, export a product and service, LeoDex, Premium, et cetera, to these other economies, and then we pull value back in from them. So, being able to buy Premium with Dash, being able to swap Dash using LeoDex, being able to buy creator subs using Dash. And then, obviously with Leo Merchants, being able to pay for things with Dash using Leo Merchants, and then us collecting a 50 cent, or whatever the swap fee is, and then sending it back to the Hive blockchain as HBD. So, now imagine that times 10, because we do it with 10 other ecosystems, and some of them are even bigger than Dash. Like Solana is a $100 billion ecosystem. The value of collaborating with them is immense. I mean, it's, Hive's market cap right now is $150 million. So you're talking about, a very large ecosystem compared to us. So I think these partnerships are really the key to growing Hive and LeoDex in the future. So outside of that, and again, like kind of theoretical posts that have been kind of in response to some of the conversations I've had lately about the proposal. We also just did a Hivestats redesign. So, actually, it was funny when I was in Croatia. A lot of people told me that they didn't even know that INLEO created Hivestats. They were like showing me their Hive because we would, I'd talk to people and they would like share their Hive username. And one way that people were doing it was showing me their Hivestats dashboard. And I thought it was really funny. Every time someone did that, I was like, "Oh, you're using Leo's Hivestats," and they had no idea that Hivestats was created by INLEO. Um, so this kind of goes back to, and again, you can read the blog post we put up on the Leo Finance account for more info, but this goes back to when we forked from the legacy chain. So when Hive was created, there were a lot of really cool stats websites on the legacy chain that let you track your account and how you were earning and all those things. Um, and when we forked, when Hive was created, a lot of those stats websites, I think pretty much all of them didn't move over, to the new chain to Hive. So I was a pretty heavy user of those stats websites like Steam World and some of the other ones you guys may remember. Um, and I decided to create Hivestats as part of the kind of INLEO collective, ecosystem and branding. So we made Hivestats, but we didn't brand it like Leo. Like we could have called it Leo Stats or something. We didn't want to do that. Like we wanted to make it a product for Hive. Like we make no money from Hivestats. It's a net loss. But it's just a way that we add value to the Hive blockchain, and provide again like a service to Hive. So we just pushed a couple updates to it, a lot of just visual things and updating some links. We haven't made an update to Hivestats in a really long time, just because we've been focused obviously on the INLEO and LeoDex core product. So those updates are all live. And then I also in that blog post asked you guys for feedback. So if you can go to that blog post, look at the new Hivestats, so open up Hivestats. I'll drop a link in the threadcast right now. That'll take you there. Give us some feedback on what you want to see added next, because we're gonna get the roadmap ready and then push some updates to Hivestats in the very near future. So head over to Hivestats, head over to that blog post. Um, tell us what you're waiting to see, because we'll add more features and things to make life better, ultimately for Hivers. So outside of all that, I think that pretty much catches us up. You've got stats in terms of the technical developments. You've got the stats dashboard that we launched. You've got the Hivestats update that we launched. You got the pilot program for Leo merchants that we launched. You got a few theoretical posts about why we should do these collaborations in the first place. Some of the kind of publicly answering some of the questions that I've gotten behind closed doors when it comes to the INLEO proposal. And then behind the scenes, we are working on the chain flip, Thorchain, and Rango integrations into LeoDex. So those are all actually getting added kind of at the same time. If you're familiar with Thorchain at all, and ThorSwap, ThorSwap created something called SwapKit, and we're essentially creating our own version of SwapKit where it'll allow swaps across all four protocols, so Maya, Rango, Thorchain, and Chainflip simultaneously, and it'll just pick the best price and best time for your swap, and then it'll give it to you on the UI. So I think that that's going to bring a lot more trading volume. And then we're also obviously we're expanding the Hive and HBD aggregator. So the new HAT v2, we're expanding that to Rango, Thorchain, and Chainflip as well. So right now you can trade Hive and HBD natively with, and also SPS and Leo, natively with like 12 different cryptos. So like Bitcoin, ETH, USDC, USDT, etc. With this new update, you'll be able to trade with pretty much any crypto. So like literally over 300. And it'll be great. So there, even your fringe, Solana meme coins, you'll be able to like, maybe you're playing with Solana meme coins and you make some profit and then you want to sell that meme coin back into Hive, you'll be able to do that using LeoDex. Yeah, Brando just shared a screenshot of Solana's DEX volume. I also saw that they just crossed 50 billion. Yeah, Solana's DEX volume is utterly insane. Um, it's been just constantly growing. So if you want to see a to the moon chart, just look at Solana DEX trading volume, and keep in mind that if the INLEO proposal gets funded, we're going to be partnering with Solana and bringing them to Hive. So I think that that's a pretty valuable thing to do.
Yeah, Solana is, and I mean, will potentially is and could always be the largest chain to get onboarded because I mean, you're talking top 10 coin with a huge community and a ton of volume.
Yeah, there's just so much potential. Like, and with these collaborations, you just have to remember, like, there's just so much potential when you look at other companies and businesses out there, and what do? They all collaborate with each other. That's how they make, that's how they make successful launches. That's how they do things. That's how they grow, is by collaborating with each other. So, Hive has never really had that kind of central ability to just like collaborate with another chain. And we didn't have the cross-chain tech that INLEO has developed. So, we've taken Hive cross-chain. Everything can be cross-chain now. You can, earn cross-chain, you can swap cross-chain, you can pay for premium cross-chain. We've brought Hive to the world of cross-chain, and this is what opens us up to collaborating with any other chain. Um, right now we can collaborate with any chain that's integrated on Maya, and then with this upcoming LeoDex, update that I just described, we'll be able to collaborate with literally any blockchain. So like we're getting Solana through Chainflip. And then Rango brings, tons of chains because Rango is actually an aggregator itself. And then Thorchain has integrations that Maya doesn't have. So this is the lead domino to doing all 10 collaborations the rest of the year, is getting this LeoDex update pushed out, and then obviously getting the funding to do it all, from Hive.
Indeed. Go rock the vote.
Yep. People are not collaborating enough on Hive from a mod manga. Yeah, I've also been reaching out to a lot of different Hive projects, saying we should collaborate more. You guys saw the Splinterlands collaboration went live. I'd love to do that with any coin that's on Hive. I think we can just, it's really easy to set up if you're already on Hive. It's kind of a no-brainer for us. So, I know that VSC doesn't have a coin, but I would love to do something with VSC, and Three Speak and some of the other big projects on Hive. So if you know any project on Hive that wants to do a collaboration like this, whether or not they have their own coin on Hive is okay. We can still figure out a way to collaborate and add like a theme to the INLEO UI for them. But I want to see more collaboration within Hive as much as we're doing outside of Hive. So, I'm very focused externally on bringing new users. So my goal with Hive is, how can we bring in new users? How can we bring in new investors? How can we capture value from external economies, for Hive? And that being said, I'm still very open to collaborating inside a Hive as well, because if you can do both at the same time, it's just exponential growth. So any
Yeah,
any if you are a Hive app owner or no one, have them reach out to me or reach out to me, and let's get something done.
I still can't. I mean, I'm looking back at the Dex volumes. I still can't believe the size of Solana's Dex volume. I didn't realize that they were like number one.
Yeah, they just
I
recently
mean,
took that crown.
well, and they're well ahead of Binance Smart Chain, which is number two. And I mean, and that's a ton. I mean, heck, most of the, most Dex related stuff I do is I feel like on Binance Smart Chain, just in terms of doing like, wrapped Bitcoin and things like that. It's crazy. I didn't realize Solana. I mean, I personally only use it here and there, like if I want to like have some fun with a meme coin or something. I never really got on the Solana chain, so to speak. But yeah, the growth of that thing has been insane. It's, considering it's a newer, it's pretty much the newest coin for the most part out of every coin on that list. And it's just, the growth of it has been explosive.
Yeah, it
Gotta
goes to
be,
show you the value, and what has Solana done really well is collaborations. Think about
yeah.
the way that they've grown their chain. Even if it's meme coin collaborations that you may not morally agree with, they've grown their chain by doing those meme coins, by bringing in external economies. That's literally how Solana did it. And you can go back to the beginning of Solana and then look over time. Solana's entire history is rooted in collaborations.
Huh. Ahmad Maga said, speaking of paying cross-chain when Leo adds. That is right, though. It'll be super easy to pay for Leo ads.
Very true. Yeah. I think we are going to launch it. You know, I've already said this publicly, but we have the technology ready to go for it. I've
I
been holding
think
it back because I think that there's a lot more potential in launching it once we've reached a certain critical
that's what I
mass.
was gonna say. Yeah,
So,
I don't like my personal opinion is that you are better off launching that after these major onboards have happened because the user base will be much larger. The activity on INLEO will be more active. Um, and at that point probably hits that boiling point where hives are net sorry ads are a net positive. Someone asked about Inleo having an app on the Play Store. Calendar team went down the app rabbit hole, and there was an app. Um,
I'm
well,
back. I'm
lost you for a
back.
minute there.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
This has been happening like every week. I don't know why.
yeah, it's
Um,
crazy how fast you come back on, though.
yeah, it's something related to Zoom because my computer's fine, but the Zoom app crashes and then it just reopens on its own.
Oh, that's weird.
It's very strange. But yeah, I heard you talking about the app. Yeah, we've gone down that app rabbit hole, and I've determined that focusing on the web app and making it really good is better than doing anything with mobile apps. So that's where the
Yeah,
focus will remain.
yeah, the mobile apps are a lot to maintain, and you can get randomly shut down.
You can. Yeah, they almost shut down Twitter when Elon took it over. They tried, Apple talked about shutting down Twitter from the Apple App Store. And if they can shut down, my response was if they can shut down Twitter, what are they going to do to us? A lowly Web3, fringe platform that's just up and coming. They can do whatever they want to us, and web apps can't be taken down. So my focus is entirely on the web apps right now, and maybe in the long run, you can always backport a web app into a mobile app. So maybe in the long run, we'll do that. But I was kind of saying before too, the focus right now is on refining the experience. So, fixing bugs, making things work flawlessly. You guys have noticed the INLEO UI is smoother than it's ever been. And that's been a major focus of ours. So keep posting threads with hashtag feedback. I try to respond to most of them, but even if I don't respond, just understand that me and the team see them every day. So keep posting feedback when you find a bug, report it as intricately and with details as possible, because then we can get it fixed and keep pushing forward. When we onboard new users, we're going for as bug-free of an experience as possible. So yeah, just keep reporting stuff and use details if you can in those threads, because it definitely helps. You may not see it right away, but over time you should see that any bug that gets reported is getting fixed. So it has a very material impact.
Yep. Share the bugs so they can get fixed. No doubt. All right, well, and it's a few minutes after 1. I know you got to
Yeah.
bounce.
Um, yeah, any closing thoughts from you?
No, just, sitting waiting for the quote unquote bull market. And in the meantime, just watching all the growth items on the in Leo docket and looking forward to when the community is 10x the size it is now.
Awesome. Yeah, I also am looking forward to those things, and obviously we're pushing hard for them on a daily basis. The $1 billion Leo economy vision hasn't gone away at all, and I think if we just keep pushing forward on these collaborations and the technology, refining the experience, like I said, and really importantly, capturing value from other economies and bringing it back to Hive and INLEO, that's how we're going to succeed in a huge way. So, yeah, thanks everyone for coming. I've just dropped a link to an X space with the Dash team that we're doing tomorrow at noon Eastern. So we're having a little bit of a friendly competition to see who can bring the most users. So Dash is going to try to bring as many people as possible, and we are going to try to bring as many people as possible. So I just dropped that X link. I'll be putting out a bunch of other announcements about it, but all the spaces are scheduled and scheduled by the Dash team, and those schedules are all live. So set a reminder for the space. Watch out for the threadcast. The Dash team will be posting a threadcast. And let's make it a big impact. I want to have as many people in there as possible. So we're going to go for at least 100 people in that space at noon Eastern tomorrow. So same time as the AMA, and same time as our usual chain chatter, but just tomorrow with the Dash team. We'll be talking about Dash. We'll be talking about Leo. We'll be talking about Hive. We'll be talking about how we can grow LeoDex volumes and do all of the things that take us to $1 billion in market cap. So thanks, Mitch, and thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern.
Indeed. Have a good one.
Peace.